Hey, what's going on everyone? It's your man Preston Max, back again with another video. So about a week ago on my Instagram, I did a poll on my story asking what people would want to see if I was to do a collection showcase. And I was deciding between some of my favorite artists, and I decided to pick between 38 Special and Conway the Machine, and the votes were astounding support for Conway. So today I figured I would go through briefly all of my Conway projects. I'm not going to go super in depth in them. Some of them I've already showcased on this channel. Just a quick overview, maybe just one of my favorite songs, and if the variant is cool, I might pull that out too. If I sound a little sick, it's because I'm just recovering from COVID. 2 years strong, it finally got to me, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, without further ado, let's get right into this. These are in no particular order. I just pulled them out of my crates, and I'll showcase them as I pulled them out. So yeah, let's get into it. So first off, we have The Missing Bricks. This was a project that released last year. It's compiled of a few unreleased tracks, throwaways maybe, whatever you think. And I believe that he was promoting these songs specifically on his tour before the tour that the whole Griselda team is on now. But yeah, some pretty good songs, nothing too crazy on here. As you can see there, 502 out of 700 copies. Just a cool, I'm a big fan of having vinyl only releases. I do believe some of these songs were put on his recent mixtape. I can't even think of what it's called off the top of my head. I wasn't a huge fan of it. But that was also pressed on vinyl, and some of these songs are carried over to that project too. Greetings Earthlings, I think it was called. But yeah, just a cool project to have, just something unique that you don't really see too often, and something cool to show someone if they are interested in checking out my collection. So that's Conway the Machine, Missing Bricks. Up next, we have From King to a God. This is the D. Rep Winkle repress. I've already gone through this on one of my older videos. It's on 180 gram. It comes on a really nice blue vinyl. I won't pull it out just because I have shown it before. 196 out of 500 there. Definitely a really popular Conway project, one of my favorites for sure. And as I said in that previous video, Jesus Crisis is one of my top Conway songs of all time. So when this was being repressed, I knew I had to get it since I slept on the first drop. Classic, not too much else to say. That's Conway the Machine with From King to a God. I didn't mention this before, but if I did have to pick a favorite track off of here, I'd probably go with Spoon's House or 50 Cent Razors is some of my favorite songs on this project here. Next project we have is If It Bleeds It Can Be Killed. This is Conway's second solo Big Ghost project. This came out last year in 2021. This is a very slept on Conway project in my opinion. It is one of my most listened to of last year probably. The beats on here are so unique and raw and gritty. Definitely a step up from the first project in my opinion, which we'll get to. But yep, just a really good project. Jay Batter's probably one of my favorite songs on there. So is Kill All Rats with Ransom and Rome Street. It's so simple, that track, that it really allows all three of them to really go in and speak their mind. And as you can see there, we have 891 out of 1400. I actually got this off of Conway's website. Randomly one night I was up at midnight, and he just posted 2 minutes before that he was going to be doing a few projects of vinyl restock, and so I was able to snag that off of there. But that's If It Bleeds It Can Be Killed. Next we have an absolute classic with Reject 2. A lot of people's favorite Conway project, probably my favorite project if I had to say. Absolute classic. This is the vinyl digital repress, which I talked very briefly about in my previous video about bootlegs. All these songs are classics. If I had to pick a favorite, I'd probably go with Rex Ryan, Black Tape, Air Holes, Sky Joint. They're all good. But yep, when this got repressed, I knew I had to go for that. Nothing too crazy, just on standard black, and as you can see, the artwork isn't, the classic artwork is kind of shrunken down here, and you got that bit of a design, but just happy to have it in my collection. That's Reject 2. Up next, we have Everybody's Food. I showcased this on my first video on the channel. This is a bootleg. Got this for a really good price. One of the first Conway projects I really got into when I started listening to him. Definitely a fan of all three of the Everybody's Food series, and I would say Land O'Lakes has got to be my favorite song on here. This also comes on colored vinyl, but I won't pull it out since I pulled it out in the first video. That's Everybody's Food 1, and right after that we have Everybody's Food 2, again showcased on that first video. This one's also on a colored vinyl and also a bootleg. Another great project, probably my favorite in the series, and May Block is probably my favorite song on here. Is Everybody's Food 2. Going through those a little quickly, just because I've talked about them more so in other videos. Alright, up next we have Goat, another classic, another contender for Conway's best project, in my opinion. This is the D-Rap Wrinkle repress, so you can see 191 out of 250 there, and this one comes on a really nice pink vinyl. I'll pull this out so you can see. D-Rap Winkle's packaging, man, if I haven't talked about it enough, these are the sturdiest jackets that I have out of anything in my collection. So you can see there, the picture isn't really coming up as vibrant as it is. It looks almost a little pale, but it's a nice pink color. Kind of contrasts with the grittiness and the griminess that's in the name, the griminess of this project. This is definitely one of the hardest hitting Conway projects in my opinion. If I had to pick a favorite song on here, I'd probably go with Dying Christmas. But again, not to sound too cheesy, but I firmly believe these beats, the production, his wordplay on here definitely is some of the grimiest of all time, and certainly in his discography. So it's Goat. Next up, we have No One Mourns the Wicked. This is the first project Conway did solo with Big Ghost. Very solid project, nothing too crazy. So you could see 388 out of 500 there. Not one I revisit as much as I do If It Bleeds It Can Be Killed, but still a very nice project. Production on here is great, and Conway of course is great. My favorite song on here is probably SDLN, but also Dead Flowers is another one of my favorites on here. And I think this one definitely set up, coming off the coattails of Griselda Ghost, I think it definitely set up what was to become on If It Bleeds It Can Be Killed. Again, that's just my opinion, but I definitely do prefer that album, and it's kind of hard not to compare when you have a producer-rapper duo that works two projects with each other. But that is No One Mourns the Wicked. Up next, we have another bootleg. This is Conway and Westside Gunn with Hall & Nash. This is kind of officially, unofficially, it's a little up in the air, but for a lot of people, and Westside Gunn himself, this is the first official Griselda release, and I recently got this as a bootleg. Just an absolute classic. It's really crazy to hear this as the first Griselda project and how similar and hard-hitting it is when compared to the rest of their very extensive catalog and discography. A lot of just absolute classics on here. Dinner Plate, Off-White, Hall & Nash, of course, some of my favorites on here. And for a bootleg, this comes on a pretty cool variant as well. Comes on this multicolor marbled yellow. So it's pretty much yellow, but there's some purples and blues and greens and even reds, some bits of white in there. So just something different, something cool. I like when bootlegs really show that they care, and I feel like a cool variant like that kind of shows that they care. But yep, just a classic there, Hall & Nash, Conway, and Westside Gunn. Next up, we have Black Tape. This was part of the reason why I pushed this video off from the time that I decided I was going to do it, because I got the notification from D-Rap Wrinkle that these were going to be shipped. This to me is what Plugs I Met was to Tana Talk 3. this feels like the follow-up to Reject 2, and this from D-Rap Winkle, absolute classic album as well. You could see 379 out of 500. I really don't think Conway makes bad music per se, but my favorite song in here, definitely Biscotti Biscuit. The samples on there are so crazy, and this comes on a really cool variant as well. It's a multicolored blue splatter with a touch of black in there. It's almost like wintry, cold, icy, kind of like how I guess the coldness that this album is supposed to elicit. You can see there with the jacket. But yeah, just another classic Conway to have in the collection, and glad that they were able to do a unique repress of this as well. Gives collectors a reason to go after different variants, and recent collectors like myself, something that's different from the original that people like to stay coveted. But this on 180 gram too, very heavy. Again, this actually just came in today, so very happy to have that in the collection. That's black tape. Last but not least, we have La Machina. This is another lot of people's favorite Conway project. I have this transparent purple version, 126 out of 250 copies. When this came out, I listened to it non-stop, almost exclusively compared to everything that I was listening to. I'll pull out the variant here, and see, it's a little dusty there, but it's just like, it's not super transparent, but it's kind of this transparent purple. I actually forgot about this, and I was driving, and when it came out, I was able to get the lilac color that I see all over the place. And then randomly one day, I was just on D-Rap Winkle, and I saw that this version restocked with only one in stock, so hopped right on it, and then I gave the other one to my friend. But yeah, definitely a favorite Conway project for many. I really think this started to really show off his growth as an artist, and sort of trying different things. I know this had a little more like trappy inspired sounds that people weren't a huge fan of, but listen, when I just went through, you know, the tons of super gritty, grimy projects, I like to see something a little different here and there, and I think this was definitely it. My favorite tracks on here, some of them being, you know, 630 Tip Off, 200 Pies, Scatterbrain. I know that was kind of like the big single of this album, but it's still very good. And then SE Gang, love me a good, you know, classic rock guitar type sample, especially when Westside and Benny are both on it too. But yep, nothing too much else to say about this one. That's Conway with La Machina, and that's gonna wrap it up for this quick video. Didn't go too crazy into the albums. I just wanted to showcase my Conway collection, as he's one of my favorite artists, and I've been realizing that I do have a lot of his work, and I thought, what a better time than to showcase it now. So still want to show love to 38 Spesh, so I'll probably be doing a 38 Spesh showcase sometime soon. But as for now, I'm Preston Max. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I'll link it in the description. I showcase all my records over there. And if you have an idea for a video you want to see, or have an artist that I might have some records of that you want to see, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your favorite Conway album is, and what your favorite record showcased in this video was. I hope you all have a blessed day. Peace.